Hello students, I hope you all are fine. So let us continue with our further topics in the networking concepts, that is the network security, which is very important and the interesting concept. So the network security is nothing but whenever you are making use of the internet facility, maybe at your home or offices or any other kinds of organization, you should ensure that the only the concerned legal or the authorized users, okay, or the programmers only can gain the access to the information resources like a database is nothing but where you have stored a lot more of information about your institute or organization. Okay, so only the legal or the authorized person should be able to gain or access to into your network security whenever you are making use of the internet. Okay, so this network security, how we can have is by implementing certain mechanisms. There are certain mechanisms that will help your internet to be secured one. Like say for an example, I can give a small whenever you are using a Wi-Fi is nothing but your internet facility at your home. You are been having this security enabled Wi-Fi. Why it is so? Because you're making it security enabled so that the other persons, your neighbors or any other person who doesn't belong to your home, shouldn't be able to use or access your internet service. Isn't it you're providing or isn't it you're protecting your network security so that the others cannot have the services? Same way, whenever you're using the internet, maybe at your home, organization or anywhere offices, make sure that your network in a sense internet, your network is being safe. Only the genuine user can have, or only the authorized user can gain access to the network or the internet services. Then how you can implement this, how you could make out he or she is a genuine user? By implementing certain control mechanisms. Okay, those control mechanisms will ensure that only the authenticated users will get the access to the resources to which they are entitled. Certain control mechanisms I can name as authorization, authentication, encrypted smart cards, or the biometrics, or the firewalls. Okay, such things if you are implementing in your network security, then you can protect your network security from the other people getting access to it. Okay, so before we discuss with those mechanisms, let us understand what may the problems encountered in our network security, what all different kinds of problems we may encounter in our network. So this is what is about we had to discuss today, that is a network security. So there are generally three different kinds of problems where our network at home or the offices or any other institutions may face. The first one is the physical security holes. So what is this physical security holes is that when an individual gain any unauthorized physical access to the computer, suppose for an example, there is a chance for any other persons can gain an access to our computer system, and he or she may misuse the files which are there in our computer systems. Usually hackers will do it by guessing the passwords, whatever the password we have kept. So they will guess the password and they may get an access to our computer system. Okay, and they may use our files, and then they may gain the access to the network systems. So usually for an example I can give you for the physical, if you have heard about the software known as TeamViewer, it will allow the two computer system or the two users in order to access the other's computer system. If they are sharing their IP address, means if I share my IP address of my computer system through that TeamViewer to one of my friend, that one of my friend may completely gain access of my computer system. I may not work on my computer system, being in different location only, he or she can access all the files which are there in my laptop or the computer systems. Now this is what is kind of a physical security holes. Physical security holes means you are making any individual can crack the password what you have put here, what you have put for your laptop, and then he may tamper the files or the data which you have stored in your laptop or the computer system. So this kind of loopholes we can call it as a physical security loopholes. Next one is the software security holes. Software security holes in the sense there may be certain badly written programs. Usually they are being known as the virus. Virus is nothing but it's actually code, a small code or the program that will get attached to the software whenever you are downloading anything from internet. Usually those virus programs will get attached to the .exe files, and whenever you download along with that exe file only, it will get downloaded into your computer systems. It may corrupt your files, or it may freeze your computer system, or it may start duplicating the files. So these are nothing but the kind of software security holes. So there may be certain badly written programs, or you can even name it as a privileged software that may do certain wrong things that which shouldn't do for your computer systems. Okay, like duplicating the files, or it will help you to corrupt your laptop system, or it may pass certain, it may take certain credentials from your laptop or the computer system, and it may pass to some other people. So this kinds of problems where the viruses are getting installed into your computer system, such kinds of, whenever you connect for the internet connection, obviously there is a chance of getting virus into your system. So that's why we always say that to have the antivirus. So these kinds of problems, whenever you are encountering, they are actually referred to the software security holes. Next one is inconsistent usage holes. Inconsistent usage holes means when a system administrator will assemble the combination of the hardware and the software that are not compatible with each other. If the hardware and the software, if they are not compatible with each other, obviously there would be no question of having the security at all, isn't it? I can give an example. If I make the two persons to talk with each other, but they doesn't know each other's language, then whether the communication can happen? No, right? So same way, the hardware and the software, when I combine them, if they are not compatible with each other, then that particular system will never have any kind of security at all. So such kind problems may come under the inconsistent usage holes. Who will decide all that is the system administrator. He should assemble the combination of hardware and software in such a way that they are compatible with each other. Then only we can expect certain kind of security from that particular system. So this is how they should be having the they can cover up the inconsistent usage holes. So these were the three different kinds of problems may encounter in the network security. One thing is, in case of physical security, what happens? Any individual may have an unauthorized access to your computer by cracking or hacking your computer by passwords. So you should make sure your network security is secured one. And then one more thing is software security holes means there may be certain badly written programs, they may get into your computer system, and they may freeze your system, or freeze in the sense they may hang your systems, they may corrupt your files, they may crash your operating system, such kinds of. The second problem. The third problem is there should be compatibility between the hardware and the software, whatever you are using in the network security system. So this is all about the network security. Now let us move on to the next topic, that is protection method. So in our previous topic, that was network security, we have seen what are the different problems which may encounter in network security. Now let us see that how we can avoid such kinds of problems by having protection methods like authentication, authorization. We also have encrypted smart cards, biometric systems, firewalls. So the first one we have to discuss is about the authentication. Now before I start with the authentication, I would like to explain about the three terminologies. The first one is the requester. Requester in the sense the customer or the users or the mobile users, like we are the requester. We are the requesting certain services or certain web pages from the service provider. Service provider is nothing but the internet service provider, an organization that provides you the internet connection. And the third terminology is the broker. Broker is nothing but the operator, different operators like Airtel, Vodafone, Jio operators. So these three entities you should remember. The one is the requester, means is us, and the service provider in the sense the ISP, and the broker in the sense the operators. Different kinds of mobile operators it might be. Now when I start with the first one, protection method is the authentication. Authentication actually refers to who you are. Like for example, suppose if any person wants to enter into an organization, they will be provided with the ID card. They need to swipe that ID card, or they may have to give the thumb impression, or they may have to give their employee ID when they want to get into that company. Otherwise the door will not open for them. So that is nothing but the authentication. When the person just wants to enter into his organization, think that he has to give his thumb impression. When he gives his thumb impression, so that authentication device, it will collect the thumb impression, okay, and it will go and validate in its database. In database, many employees thumb impression, it will be there. It will start matching that thumb impression with the list of those employees thumb impression. If any match has been found, then the system will consider that he is an authentication person, hence, or he is an authenticated user, or he is an authenticated employee of this institution or the organization. So we need to open the door. Understood? So authentication, it will ask the user's credential in the sense it might be the legal login ID and the password. Once if he or she provides the legal login ID to that particular system, then it will go and validate, okay, in its database. After validation, if it finds it correct match, if it is found, then it will let that employee to get in. This process is nothing but the authentication. Now let me explain you. So authentication usually ensures that each entity involved in the web services, like the requester, provider and the broker, is to be the authenticated persons. I said about the requester means we, provider means ISP, and the broker. So each and every entity, then each and every people who are involved in the internet service provider, it will check whether they are an authenticated persons or no. How it is checking? Authentication usually accepts the credential from the entity. Entity means all the three persons, okay. It will accept the credential from the requester, validate them against an authority. Authority is nothing but the database where exactly the all previous before only it will be collecting all the thumb impressions of all the employees, or the legal login ID and the passwords, right? So it will accept the data from credential from that particular user, and it will go and match against the authority or the database. Then we can also term this authentication as the password protection, as the authorized user is asked to provide the valid password. If he or she provides the valid password, then he or she will be considered as an authenticated user. I hope you can understand what is authentication. Authentication is nothing but it will validate who you are actually, if whether you are a genuine employee of that organization, or whether you are a genuine person of using the internet service. Now here we are talking actually about the internet service. Suppose when you request for any web browser, think that you have recharged with an internet, okay, and if you whenever you request for anything internet, your request will go to the ISP, okay. ISP will validate your phone number. It will validate by your phone number only, or all your credentials it will get, okay. It will validate your phone number against the database. For your phone number, yes, he is a genuine user of this operator, that is a Vodafone. Maybe if you are a Vodafone recharge with internet service, yeah, she is a user of Vodafone user, and they have recharged with this much of internet, and hence this data speed they have to be provided. Like this, the validation takes place in the case of authentication. Hence, once you are being authenticated, then you may experience the internet service. So this is all about the authentication. Now let us move on to the next one, is the authorization. So what happens in the authorization? Actually, authorization will validate what you are authorized to do with. Now an example I'll tell you. As I said that one user, an employee, is being considered as an authenticated user, and he will be let inside the organization. Once he gets into the organization, the system will also recognize to what level he may access the files. Now his designation is an employee. Employee will be having certain limitations to access the files. Before to that, him the higher authority will be the manager, their access level will be different. Again, the higher authority directors, their access level will be different. Like this, which one which one will identify what is their access level is nothing but that process is nothing but the authorization. Okay, so this authorization will actually determine whether the service provider has granted the access to the web service to the requester or no. As I said in the example, whenever you ask for the internet services, whenever you say you type it in the Google, whenever you type it and when you request for facebook.com, your request will go to the ISP will validate it. Previously it has validated, yes, you are a Vodafone user, okay, you have an internet connection. And in case of authorization, what it will validate is that to what plan you have recharged with and what should be your data speed. Okay, what should be your data speed, it will authorize. It will determine whether the service provider has granted, whether the ISP has granted for you to use the internet service which has been requested by the user. And how it will be done is authorization will confirm the by asking the service requester's credential. Here also it will be asking the credential to provide the password. Okay, usually authorization is being performed by asking the user legal login ID. It will ask, okay, if he or she provides a legal login ID, then she will be considered as an authorized user. You may get confused with authentication and authorization. You just remember authentication is nothing but it will validate who you are. Okay, just whether you have recharged with internet connection or no and which operators you belong to, that will be done in the authentication. Like it will verify whether you are a genuine user, all the three entities, user as well as the service provider as well as the broker. Then in case of authorization, to what plan you have recharged with, what data speed you should get, what is the access level for you to provide the internet services will be decided by this authorization. Okay, both will be asking for the passwords or the legal login ID. Once you provide it, then he or she will be considered. Firstly, authentication will take place, so he will be considered as an authenticated user. Then he will be provided with some authorization depending upon how much amount of recharge he has done. So I hope the topics authentication and authorization protection methods are clear to you all, and as well as the previous topic, that is the network security. So which are the different kinds of loopholes may occur in the network security, and how we can overcome by using these protection methods. So these topics are clear to you, and further still more certain protection methods are there, like encrypted smart cards, biometric systems and firewalls. So these topics we will discuss in our next further video. So till that, listen carefully the video and solve the questions accordingly which will be given in the assignment. Okay, so take care. Okay, thank you.